Welcome to Church Biz. I am your host, Reverend Patrina White McClure, here on WCEG Talk Radio, WCEG Network TV. So glad to be here with you. Before I introduce our amazing guest, I want to let you know that WCEG is a nonprofit community radio station. So if you are looking for seed to sow, or looking for a place to sow your seed, please give us a call at 404-490-8646. That is 490-8646 in Atlanta's area code of 404. I want to let you know that the thoughts and opinions are those of mine and our amazing guest, Mr. Boaz, Coach Bo Bivens. Welcome to Church Biz.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the invite.
Oh, great. So glad to have you. You're an author, a philanthropist, an assistant coach over at Morehouse College. I'm going to start there. How did you land at the house?
Well, everything is really based on relationships. I think any position that you're in, someone, more than likely had to help you get there, And so I was the former head coach at Clark Atlanta University, and we play Morehouse, and so the coach at the time, the late Grady Brewer, he kind of took me under his wing, and I would talk to him and he would just give me insight, knowledge, and everything. And then, he passed away, and his assistant became the head coach, who is from Detroit, my hometown. And we just kind of connected. And so once, CAU decided to go in a different direction, he was like, man, you can come over here, so
Oh,
I'm currently the associate head basketball coach at Morehouse and been for the last couple of years now. So I'm just very grateful. Like I say, relationships. I tell people all the time, it's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's who knows you, And
mm,
so when people know about you and they know you're genuine, they know your passion, they know your vision, they know your direction, they know where your heart lies, then, they want you around. So I'm just grateful to be at Morehouse College right now, trying to win another championship.
I hear you. As a matter of fact, that's how I ended up at WCEG Talk Radio, because our CEO and owner knew what I was about. So I can totally relate to just being authentically you. If you're you, people learn how to respect that, and they'll open up doors for you or pathways because they're trying to help you come up, because they really appreciate what you do. So how did your journey start for you writing Choices and Consequences? Because I'm sure if it isn't already, it's about to be a bestseller, because those words, everybody can relate to all of that.
Yes, ma'am. Um, it's very interesting, because in school, as I was matriculating, I was never really a writer, right? I never had any aspirations to write, let alone become an author. I wrote a few poems here and there, for the ladies, wrote a few for, in class and stuff like that, but it was never anything that I had taken seriously. And it was just at a point in my life where I felt like, I had been through a lot. And so I felt like somebody could benefit from it. I wanted to leave something for my kids. A lot of times other people tell the story once you die, and I wanted to make sure that they heard the story from me or read the story from me. And so from me making, these choices and the consequences that came from them, I just felt like I could leave it for somebody else and possibly help them along their journey and their pathway, because I didn't have a blueprint. Nobody really told me about, the choice of religion, the choice
Mm.
of love, the choice of friends, the choice of marriage. So I just feel like, this is a book where every chapter deal with a different choice that you have encountered or that you will encounter. And I was just fortunate enough to just keep writing, keep writing, keep writing, and it became a book. So I'm grateful.
Interesting. I love how you said you just kept writing because you wanted your children to know your story. That's their legacy on how they got to where they are, because each generation is responsible for pushing up the next. And so I like how you're basically saying you didn't have representation, like they say, representation matters. You didn't really have that as a frame of reference. Am I understanding that correctly?
Correct, correct. Yes.
So you made a lot of mistakes,
Oh my
unnecessary ones.
God. So many mistakes, so many, so many poor choices. But I'm just fortunate to be able to be on this Zoom with you, so those consequences did not take my life, right? So I'm still,
Amen.
still able to live and breathe and be able to share. So I'm very grateful, that they didn't. Those consequences didn't take me out. Yeah.
I can relate. I can relate. As I think about my own past, I often thank God that He didn't let me get wiped out in the midst of my sin,
Mhm.
because that the only other consequence would have been hell. But I thank God He saw something in me, or in Himself, and His willingness to use me to bring Him glory, and allowed me to live. His grace and His mercy is what you're basically talking about.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yeah.
So, so if it's not too much divulgence of the contents of your book, because you do want people to buy it and read it,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, what kinds of mistakes or that you made that you thought were insurmountable to survive, but like we just finished saying, by God's grace, He brought you through.
Correct. Correct. Um, well, I tried to frame the book, the context of the book in a chronological order, right? So the first chapter is the choice of life, and so as we procreate, God is the one that really touches the womb, right? And so
Right.
you have a lot of couples, a lot of women who can't bear children, right? And so from that, God touches the womb and enables the pregnancy to happen, right? And so from that, life has a purpose. So I look at it as, me being here, it was a purpose that God had for my life. And so in that, my mom could have made a different choice, right? She
Mm,
could have had an abortion and I couldn't, I wouldn't have been here, you know.
right.
So the choice, the fact to have me enabled me to be here and to start the life, that I have. And so, from that, you get the choice of family. I didn't have a father, so it was tough growing up in the inner city of Detroit and not having, a constant male figure to let you know how to conduct yourself, how to prepare for certain situations in life, how to not look at your current situation, and see that there is a silver lining soon to come. And so the choice of family, is tough because my mom never married, right? So when she never married, there was never a male figure. So I'm out, with the community, right? So I have the fellas in the community, they taking me under their wing and they giving me the street advice, and I'm getting, this advice that they wish they could have gave to somebody else. And so I don't know, so I'm caught on the fence, of do I do the street or do I do the right, and so, and that's just that, but they were my family. We wasn't family by blood, but we were definitely family. So, and that was always tough. My grandmother did a great job. My aunties, uncles, everybody. It was a village. It was definitely a village when it came to the family. But it was a lot of times where I didn't know. Sometimes I didn't know right from wrong. But I got that whooping. From my grandmother. To kind of put me back in line, to kind of refocus me, but
Right.
and I'm doing what's the normal thing to do, the right thing to do. Um, and then, from there, the choice of religion, I think whatever religion is in your household, that's what you grow up, practicing, or being a part of and believing in, but sometimes that religion may not be for you. We grew up Pentecostal and we wore white to everything, And so some
Mhm.
people, they grow up Pentecostal, but then they, venture off. They might go Baptist, they might go Catholic, some, go Muslim or what have you, but you have to find it for yourself. You have to find it for yourself. You have to, have that relationship with the creator, for yourself. And you can't allow somebody to just put you in that once you get older and you realize that, okay, this right here is what this brings me closer to God, or this brings me closer to the creator. So it's a lot, I mean, the choice of sex, it was just, some tough choices there, Um, I didn't know, and you hear these stories on this and that, or you not sure what love is. Some people think sex is love, and it's just so many, what I mean, things where you have to decide when it comes to making the right choice. But sometimes the consequences are they unforeseen. You don't know, so it's a lot. Choice of friends, like we can't choose our family, right, Miss Penny? We can't choose our family, so but we can choose our friends. You can choose who you want to spend time, extended time with, who you want to invite to your house, who you want to celebrate with, who you want to take on, go with on those different trips. Those individuals are the ones that you allow into your circle that are close to you, that you confide into, but they wasn't, how I like to say, they were chosen by you, right?
Right.
When you have friends, y'all have to agree, like, okay, we friends, right? But then you got some where you say, no, I can't have you come to the house. Let me meet you over here at this Starbucks. You know, I don't know. I don't want you to know where I stay. What I mean? So
That part.
you just kind of, decide on or rather choose who you want to be your friends. So it's a lot. It's a lot. Choice of education, where you want to go to school, HBCU or PWI, private school, public school, Catholic school, home school, right? So it's a lot of choices in that, but ultimately you want to position yourself to be, to be able to help your family, so it's a lot, the book is pretty good. I will say, I feel it's very relatable to anybody that gets it and reads it. It's something in there that they can relate to.
Awesome. I remember you just caused me to remember what my dad used to say, which was, it's a sorry dog who won't wag its own tail. So keep putting that plug out there because people need help, wherever they are. And they may just pick up that book and read it. Now, you said a lot really in just those few moments. And one of them is you mentioned the silver lining that exists whenever we're in trouble, when we blow it, we mess up, we sin, we disrespect, whatever we did, whatever wasn't pleasing to God and to ourselves a lot of times, even though we don't want to admit it. But how did you, or what led you to begin to identify that silver lining in all of the hiccups in your life?
Man, that's a easy answer. Three words. Lena Mae Bivens. Right, that's my grandmother.
Okay.
So she really saw something in me that I didn't. had no idea was there. She knew I was gonna be great. She knew that I was gonna be a great athlete. She knew I was, intellectual. I mean, just a lot of things that I see now that she had foreseen for me to keep me, out of trouble, you know. And so I owe it all to her. She was like, no, you gonna be how's you say, you going to church, you're gonna have
Yeah.
faith in God, you're not gonna
Yeah.
allow this environment, to suck you in, you're gonna do great things. And so she would tell me that all the time. And so I just, grandma just talking, right?
Right. Right.
But she knew what she was saying. She knew she saw something, I think God really showed something in her to her, that she kind of put in me and kind of instilled in me, regardless of the circumstances. I was gonna persevere through it. Yeah, so those three words, Lena Mae Bivens. Yeah, absolutely.
Amen. And it's a statement that's being said that you are not your mistakes. And that requires us to not focus on what we've done, but focus on who we are. And I'm so grateful that your grandmother sowed all of her what she could into you, because
Absolutely.
that's your foundation that you draw from.
Yeah, absolutely. No question.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you relay that to your kids?
Oh, oh, wait. Oh my goodness. I don't know. It's one of those situations where I just tell them to be better than me. You
Mm,
know.
mm,
I got a few degrees. I did some things, and I tell my son I need him to be a better father, be a better husband, be a better brother. I tell my girls, that they beautiful, they intelligent, they smart, and they gonna be great. So I continue to repeat it, reinforce it. I mean, even my young son, he's a up and coming, star athlete, but I tell him he got to keep working. You got to be better than what you are. You got to be better than your father.
mm.
So it's just a repeated, reinforcement, affirmation. You know, yeah, your greatness is still the fact of doing the process of becoming great. You can't stop at the G. You got to keep going. You can't stop at the R, right? You can't look at the E. The A is not enough, right? The T is there, but then you got to add the E, the S, and the and the T with it. So yeah, they just got to continue to be great. I continue to try to, reinforce that with them. Don't settle. Don't feel like you made it when you have so much life left to do. Yeah,
And that's so critical because so many of us, we do some phenomenal things and then we stop because we start smelling the roses a little bit too long, and we don't keep it moving, because once we accomplish one great thing, there's more.
correct.
And we just start, wow, well, I did this, I did that. And so what's your word to us older folks? We kind of stop, when God wants us to keep it moving. He's a forward moving God, and we got to move with him.
Yeah. My advice is, you wake up for a reason, right? It's a
Mm,
purpose that you woke up. Somebody didn't wake up, right? So for you to wake up, then you should know your purpose and you continue to live and follow within that purpose, right? So my purpose, I know every day is to impact a life, right? So I get another opportunity. God gave me another 24 to impact as many lives as I can. And so I continue to do that through coaching, through teaching, through mentoring, whatever it is, right? So I think as we get older, we got to understand that it's a reason you woke up. I know
mm.
people always ask me, how you doing? Man, it's the best day of my life. Right? I woke
Amen.
up,
Bless God.
got another 24. So I just
Yeah.
feel like, as you get older, you realize like you here for a reason. Identify that purpose, walk in that purpose, and just be great every day. Be great every day. Don't take it for granted. Even if you wake up, you don't feel well. You say, well, I'm here. I'm here, baby. I'm here.
All right.
Yeah, yeah,
All right, everybody. You heard it from Coach Bo now. He's coaching you. That's a life principle. You're
yeah.
here for a reason. So
Oh,
thank
yeah,
God for another 24
yeah.
and find out what your purpose is for that day, your mission is for that day. I like how the Bible in the book of Proverbs, chapter 24 and verse 27, it says, build your or excuse me, go out and tend your fields,
Mm-hmm.
and afterwards build your house.
Build your house. Correct.
And then the principle is find out what your purpose is,
Correct.
get used to doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can worry about the things you want, like, family, you want to chill, go on a couple of vacays, all of that. But
Correct.
the New Testament comparison says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness,
Yeah, all
and
these things.
all these
Mhm.
things will be
Yeah.
added unto you. So, at what point did you actually begin to actualize this particular principle in your life?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't even know if it was a point. I just feel like it just started to reveal itself to me. You know what I mean? Where I would wake up and, realize that, I have a gift, right? And so from that, I just continued to water that, right? To nourish that,
All right.
I was able to see, that these things will be added to you. Good, is gonna be around you. It's gonna be good that comes from you. It's gonna be good that goes to other people. So it just began to reveal itself. So it wasn't like just at one point, it was just a continuous process, perpetual, affirmation every day. Yeah, so I'm just grateful that I'm able to continue to walk in that, and receive all these things.
So, what sport did you play?
I play football and basketball. I play them all, anything with a ball. I tell the players, I tell everybody, anything with a ball, marbles, ping pong ball, bowling ball, tennis ball. Like, and I was just one of those individuals who was fortunate to be a great athlete. So I could pick up things, quickly. And then I had good skill with it. But I played football and basketball in high school. And then when I got to college, I had to decide, what I wanted to do. So I chose basketball. And I'm not, ashamed to say it. I chose it for the ladies, because football is, it's one of those sports where a lot of people come to the games, but it's 22 individuals out there. And if you're not in the play at that time, then they're not cheering for you. Right. But basketball, where it's only 10 on the court, they can see you,
Okay.
got all this equipment on, and then I was a point guard and a two guard, so I had to touch the ball every time. So he was like, oh, ooh, ooh. So I kind of like that. And so I chose basketball and continued to play it at a high level. I was pretty good. I had aspirations of playing pro, play some pro ball in the summer and things of that nature. And then my knees, just start going out, right? I had 4 knee surgeries.
Mm,
And so from that, I realized, well, I have to, use my talent elsewhere, right, to impact other
okay.
individuals and just started coaching from there. I think I was coaching when I was playing, right? I was always talking to the guys, tell them this, tell them what to work on, things of that nature. And so it just kind of transitioned, once I finished playing ball into coaching, where I started at Grambling State University. And it was just a great experience, playing at Grambling, playing, around the country and things of that nature. I wouldn't ask for anything else, right? But basketball has afforded me the opportunity to travel throughout the country and around the world. Afforded me the opportunity to, to coached with the Los Angeles Lakers for a few years, you know. I think I done coached on every level, all right? You know, middle school, high school, junior college, you know, Division One, Division Two, you know,
Wow.
NAIA, you know, the pros. So basketball has afforded me that, you know, and I was pretty good as a player, and I think I'm able to articulate it, you know, as a coach, you know, and then able to relate to the guys as well, because I work. You know, some guys feel like they don't have to work. You know, you can't stop the work. You know, if I can shoot, but you can't shoot off of the bounce, right? No, you only can shoot, you know, in this position. You know, you can't shoot with your left, right? So it's just different things that I try to challenge players to just be better every day. You know, I have something on my board where I say get better every day. So and that's, you know, not just basketball, but it's just get better, be a better student, you know, be a better citizen, right? Be a better friend, be a better teammate, be a better family member, right? So you got to get better every day. And so basketball, like I say, has afforded me the opportunity to do a lot of things for a lot of different people and travel around the world as well. So I'm very fortunate, you know, so I chose basketball.
Awesome, awesome. Um, Now, what are some of the life principles? Because when I talk to different athletes or even just successful people who have an athletic background, and they often point back to when I played sports, I learned this. What are some of the things that sports has taught you?
Discipline, you know,
Mm,
discipline is the number one thing. Um, it was a period where I would literally go to bed every night at 10 o'clock, right? And not 10:01, not 10:30. It didn't matter what was going on, who was around. I would literally have enough discipline to go to bed at 10, wake up at 4:55, 5 o'clock, you know, do my push-ups, crunches, you know, get my workout in and continue to do that to this day, right? I can't sleep, right? I get up and I'm up, you know, but I got enough discipline to, you know, lock in to whatever it is I need to lock in to. That could be academic, athletics, or whatever. But the discipline that I, you know, gained from athletics, you know, as trying, you know, prelude into my life, you know, where I, you know, I'm able to lock in and just focus on whatever it is I need to focus on. The other thing is respect. You know, you got to
mm,
respect everybody. You know,
mm, mm,
I think sometimes where, you know, when we are elite players, you know, sometimes we look down on people, you know, and I think basketball and athletics have really taught me just to be humble enough to respect everybody, respect the custodian, respect the groundskeepers, respect the people in the cafeteria, right? Respect, you know, the trash man. It doesn't matter, maintenance, whomever, right? Because those individuals are doing a job that, you know, other people may not want to do, right? But
mm,
they keep your university clean. They keep your campuses clean. They keep your offices clean. They keep you in a good space, you know, mentally, right? Because when you come in, you say, "Oh man, this is clean. This is nice," or what have you. But sometimes we don't even speak to them individuals. So I make sure I speak to everybody. I give everybody respect, regardless of their status or position, title, you know. And so I think athletics has taught me that, you know, because it was a time where I just felt like I ain't need to talk to nobody, you know. I just focus on me, you know.
uh-huh.
But the reality is when you take time out with people and then they know that you're doing a great service for others, they respect you even more. You know what I mean? So respect comes from respect. And so just being respectful, so having discipline, respect, and just perseverance, you know, because you're gonna have ups and downs. It's gonna be some good times, gonna be some bad times, right? You're gonna win some games, you're gonna lose some games, you know. And so from that, you know, that also helped me in life. You know, this is a downtime right now, but I'm gonna see the light real soon. I'm gonna be on top. I'm gonna be victorious. So yeah, sports do it. Sports have really done it for me, so I try to, make sure I be an example to the others, to my student athletes, to anybody that I encounter.
Awesome. I like how you mentioned perseverance because life is full of alternating situations. You can be on a high and then you're on a super high, then you come down on a low, then you got to pull yourself up out of the hole. But that's life. That is so normal for everybody, but some people they don't know how to process that as such.
Correct.
So they internalize it to say the world is out to get me, or everybody's out to get me, or maybe I'm not valuable, or maybe I should commit suicide, is where a lot of people try to take it nowadays, because
Correct.
that seems to be an accepted conversation among young people. Who would
Mm.
ever thought that? But uh, do you ever encounter anybody who's at that point, and how does that conversation sound?
Oh, man, those be those conversations where I feel like God be testing me, right? Yeah, that's one of them tests. He say, "Here, Bo, let me test you with this individual." But definitely, being in athletics, being an educator, being an advisor and a mentor, you do run across individuals who get to a dark place in their life. And so I just realized that when they come to me with it, they've just given me an opportunity to be that light within that dark space. And so I just let them know, like, you got people that love you, right? Sometimes when the walls get to closing in, sometimes love will be the thing that sustain it.
Hmm.
And so I'm saying, well, I'm here. I love you. What can I do to help you? And so I try to offer my time, my knowledge, experience, whatever, money, whatever I can do to help a person get out of a dark space, then that's what I'm willing to do, because I know for a fact that they wouldn't have came to me, right, if it wasn't for a reason, right? And so
Right.
I feel like sometimes God just say, hey, go talk to Bo, go talk to Coach, you know what I mean? And sometimes He'll let me see it, right? You can be able
Mm,
to discern that this individual is not themselves right now, and so they need to be uplifted, right? So I offer myself to uplift them and to brighten their day any way that I can. So I do hear those success stories where they, come back, call me or what have you and reach back out to me saying, you helped me, right? I was in that dark space and now I'm, I'm fully elevated, into the light. So
yes.
I'm very appreciative of you. So it's no question about it, And it's funny because I told my kids when I die, I want my tombstone to read, Bo Bivens, here lies nothing because he gave everything,
Ooh,
right? So time, money, clothes, whatever I can
Jesus.
offer somebody, then that's what I'm willing to do.
Mm,
I don't want to have nothing when I leave here, you know. So, and I want to give it all to the people before. So definitely, I just try to be that light in that dark space that they encounter. Definitely.
that is powerful. And thank you for being open to those individuals who may not feel like they can go to anyone else without being judged, because it's clear that you create a safe space around you. So that's why they trust you enough with their most innermost critical situations in life, and especially with young people, because you mentioned something earlier about how you coach your children through life. You give them affirmations, all of that good stuff. But I like to call that the ministry of parenting. And a lot of people don't view parenting past, well, you got food, clothes, some place to stay,
Right,
clothes to wear, what else you need? I did my part.
right.
But in actuality, it's a lot more than that. It's about helping them to discover what their purposes are.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
So, have any of your children expressed their purposes to you?
Um, Not yet. No, they haven't. They haven't. They still I like to say finding themselves, as they continue to get older and mature. Um, my youngest daughter, she probably has found her purpose first, just based on the fact that she loves, right? So it was a period where she was about 12. She might have been 11. And we were eating, and she was like, "Daddy, was that chicken alive?" I was like, "It was." She was like, "I just can't see us killing these chickens." And so she went through a phase where she just didn't eat meat because she knew that these were, living beings or what have you. And so I'm thinking like at 12, she'd stop eating meat, you know. And so she loves kids, she loves people, right? So she's right now, she's a assistant nurse, so she's working in the hospital and stuff like that. So but that's, her knowing her purpose. My son, he's kind of like me. He love people. He's a photographer, so he love capturing those shots, of individuals for those occasions and things of that nature. Then my oldest daughter, she's been a mom, so her purpose is making sure that my granddaughter is growing, learning, and loving. But
Awesome.
but yeah, so they definitely still at that point where they are evolving into their purposes. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so, what type of parenting advice do you give them? Because I'm sure some of that is captured in choices and consequences.
Well, it's only one of them with a child. So but nah, they know who I am. They know that it starts with faith, right? It starts with the spiritual aspect. And then you continue to go with the knowledge. They gotta learn, they gotta read, and I'm a athletic guy, so I make sure they do their push-ups, they gotta work out. you know, Gotta work out, gotta eat right, things of that nature, But I think the biggest part is the loving piece and the spiritual piece, because if you don't have that, then you really don't have the foundation that you need to be a great parent, So definitely they have to know that. And they got that, their mom and myself gave them that. So they prepared to put that into their children also.
Awesome, awesome. So, what are a couple of the, and we're getting close to the end of our time, is going really fast. Um,
Mm.
what are a couple of your favorite chapters in the book?
Oh. I would say choice of friends, I got a few friends that I'm pretty close to, and I wouldn't trade them for the world, right?
Mm,
And so we've been through a lot. And it's once again, it's a choice to have those individuals that you close to. And so we mutually have, chose one another, right? And so just being able to know that uh we close. I lost one of them. He passed away. And it hurts me every day. I think about him every day. It's not a day go by that I don't think about him, right? And he's in the book, but choice of friends. I think sometimes as friends, right, we tend to allow certain things to end our friendship. Whereas those are the things that you need to go through together, if that's your true friend, you know.
hmm
And so for me, I just feel like, there's nothing that could separate, our friendship, to the point where we just not there, right? We continue to work on it, build on it, but it's mutual though. It has to be, got to be a two-way
Right.
street. They gotta want to make it work, and vice versa. But I think the choice of friends is one of my favorite chapters. And it's even, being friends of the opposite sex, right? Sometimes you get into certain spaces and it'd be like, well, you can't be friends with her, because that's a female. And it's like, well, we've been friends, right?
Yeah.
It's an interesting dynamic that can be discussed, from the book, right?
Okay.
Um, and then what's another one? Man, I mean, just the choice of religion is good. Uh, yeah, the choice of love. I mean, they good chapters. They good chapters.
Okay.
I mean, my favorite is choice of friends, just because, my wife, she gets on me sometime about, your friends, you're more of a friend to them than they are to you, you know.
Mm,
And so
mm,
I say, well, I can't help that. That's just the way I am, right?
yeah.
And I just feel like, when you are who you are, then you don't really want to change, if change is not needed. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah. It's so hard to find a good friend, and they usually say that if you have at least five friends, or less, you're already blessed. And then we know that the Bible said a friend loves all times. They love you when you mess up, when you're
Correct.
doing good. They
Correct.
got you. They're
Correct.
your ride and dies. If you
Correct.
out, they know how to give to you, all of that.
What a preach.
But
You preaching now. Go ahead. Go ahead, preach.
and so I do believe that you kind of have to go through, if you will, a couple of ugly frogs in order to get to that right friend, regardless of the sex or their history. But you have to have, like you said, that mutual commitment. And you kind of have to be moving in the same direction too. I found that out.
Right.
That if you're trying to uh, do more with yourself, it's kind of hard for those who don't want to change to
Right.
move with you.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I take it you've been there.
Oh, absolutely. 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 And that makes it tough. I think if you have two individuals that have been friends for a long time, and then they start going in different directions in their life or their pathways or their journeys, find a fork in the road, it's God that brings you back together, right?
Yes.
You done did your part for all these years, now if it happens on the other side or around the corner or whatever, when y'all reconnect, then that's God, but otherwise, if they not going in the same direction, or you not elevating them, they not elevating you, then yeah, you gotta make it, you got a choice to make.
Yeah. That part.
Yeah, you got a
Because
choice
the
to make.
consequence, all right,
Yeah, yeah,
the consequence is you'll be doing whatever they're doing if they're not growing.
correct.
And like they say, if and most of the times, I love hearing people who found their paths to
Mhm.
success, the one that they've been ordained to walk. So one of the things that's a constant is look to see who your friends are now, because in 5 years that's where you'll be.
Mm,
So in other words, if
yeah,
you're trying to do more, you got to change it all up. You got
correct.
to find a new vibe and go with that, you
Most
know.
definitely.
And
Yeah.
so, but you mentioned the key thing: God has to ordain it, God has
Mhm.
to orchestrate that, because we shouldn't just be friends with some people just because you're trying to get to the next level. But
Correct.
you have to have somebody who has the same vested interest in their future.
Most definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So uh, uh, having friends. I'm so grateful. I thank God on the regular for my friends, because when I've had the toughest of times, it was my friends who had they were my ear.
Mm-hmm.
And then every now and then God would touch one of them. They'll be like, "Here you go, sis. I know you're in need. So I'm going." And I didn't have to ask for anything. He put it on their hearts to want to give and to help bring me to where I am today. And
Definitely.
so, which is similar to mentoring. So I know you do that at work with the young people at the school, but what about in your personal life?
Well, I mentor in my personal life.
Yes.
Oh, nah. Well, I do. I try to rather, I do have a foundation, full court foundation, where we have a uplift mentoring program, where I reach out to the community. I mean, if it doesn't matter. I feel like even when I'm doing it, at the institution, or right here on the corner, it's still the same. You still getting the same meat, right?
Okay.
But I just got a passion for people, and anytime I'm able to give my time, it's a blessing in that time. So mentoring is just a part of who I am. It's every day. I see a young guy in the store, I'm trying to make sure he's on the right path, you know. Yeah, so nah, it's just part of me. It's part of who I am.
You just said something so critical. So what would be your advice for somebody to want to approach a group of fellas sitting on the corner, look like they're doing nothing other than chilling, when we know that they could be doing something better with their time?
I think the first thing is not to be scared. I think a lot of
Mm,
times, some people just be afraid to go up to a group of guys who might just seem like they not doing anything right now. The other thing is that you just got to be genuine. You can't
mm,
try to do it for accolade or do it for some recognition or what have you. It had to be within your heart to do it. And once those individuals see that, then they're gonna be genuine with you, you know. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of like I don't know, it's the innate spirit that you have to have, when you go up
mm,
to individuals that you don't know or you have never encountered before, what have you, because you can't have fear. They pants can be sagged. They even have a gun. Because we in Georgia, right? So they can have
yeah.
a gun.
Hey.
But some people just be afraid, to be a mentor, to be a vessel, to be used, and even if it's a group of five and you reach one of the five, you did more than
Mm,
a lot of people didn't do. So you may not reach all five, but the one, man, I appreciate that. Well, that might be the one that stops somebody from breaking into your car. Hey,
mm,
hey, that's my man car. You
yeah.
that car. Go on down the street, get the next car. But you never know. You never know, the impact that you can have unless you, make yourself available and be used as a vessel.
What about consistency in that type of work?
It just got to be your calling. It just got to be your calling. I think that if somebody gonna be consistent in being a mentor to those who they don't know every day, then that just had to be their calling.
Okay.
But like, yeah, because if you have a 9 to 5 and then you feel like, oh, I'm tired, and then that's not your calling. That ain't your calling. Right?
It's like, let me give some money to y'all that's doing it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
anyway,
yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
Nah, it just had to be a part of you, I mean, once again, you got to know your purpose in life. God show you your purpose. You got to walk in that purpose, and then you got to live that purpose. So, and I don't, for me, I want to go around and speak to as many people as I can about this book, but also I just want to go around and just speak to people, right? So when I'm
Okay.
afforded an opportunity to go to a college campus that I've never been to, or go, sit in front of a group that I've never spoken to before, then that's me walking in my purpose, God is, afforded me this opportunity to do so. And so I just feel like that's it. I'm there. I'm here, baby. Let's get it. So it could be two people, it could be 2,000 people, right? I'm still gonna have the same energy. I'm still gonna be the same individual because those lives mean just as much as the masses. So nah, I welcome the opportunity. Welcome the opportunity.
Amen. Amen. Have you considered approaching the HBCUs about using your book as recommended reading for the freshmen?
I have. We're in the process of trying to get over to that point. It is in the bookstore. It's at Clark Atlanta bookstore.
Okay.
Yeah, so they walk in, they see it. Some students have already
Awesome.
purchased it. Some faculty and staff have as well. So I'm gonna try to get it over here at Morehouse and as many places as I can get it. But definitely, I will encourage them to make it a recommended reading for sure.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for doing that. Because you already mentioned how you didn't have anyone to model before you which way to go other than faith, because that's what you need first and foremost, because God created us in faith. And
Yes,
now he has faith enough in us to carry out his will in the earth. And so
ma'am.
we have to give God glory for that it started where it was supposed to, and it just kind of morphed over, and how God used your testimony to make a written document.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
better than that?
You're absolutely correct. It's a
Yeah.
blessing.
So I want to say congratulations to you. Now, how can people follow you on social media, and where can they purchase your book?
Okay, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, website. My name Boaz I dot Bivens. The website is boazbivens.com. The book is on every platform where you can purchase a book. Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Just type it in, choices and consequences, and that blue book gonna pop up. But definitely, go out, get it, support. Reach out to me, on social media, follow me, uh, request me. I'm willing to come speak to you, and you. But definitely, yeah, I'm on all platforms for social media as well.
Awesome. Thank you for being a part of our show on tonight here on Church Biz at WCEG Talk Radio. I pray God speed with you, over you, and with your family as well. I love hearing when a Black man can talk about and be present for
Yeah,
his family, be proud of his family, not talk his family down like some do. And
correct.
so I respect you and honor you for that. And I want to tell our Church Biz audience, everybody, God has purpose for you. It's your job to be in enough fellowship with him so that he can reveal to you what that is, so that you can fulfill the will of God for your life, not duplicate somebody else's, because God has greatness in you that he wants to bring out in the earth, especially in a time like this. People need to see your light in their darkness. So be that, so that they can follow you, and you can lead them to Jesus. And just in case you are not born again, I want to tell you that Jesus is the way and the truth and the life. Anyone who wants to go to the Father, they have to go through him. They have to confess Jesus as their personal Savior and know that God raised him from the dead. And if you believe that in your heart and confess your faith in him, ask God, Lord, save me and help me to make you the Lord of my life. You need to be sure about your eternal salvation, because Everything's crazy now in this world as of about 5 or 6 weeks ago, globally. So you better know where
Yeah.
you're headed to. Not think about it, not wish, but know Jesus as your personal savior. And on this note, we want to tell you, God bless you and take care.